So this is the week 13 discussion board post, and we were to look into two of the cases listed and discuss the legal arguments within those cases. So the first one that I looked at was, I guess it's pronounced Morris versus Frederick, and that case was about a student that strung up a banner that said bong hits for Jesus during I guess a school regulated field trip. They were waiting for the Olympic torch to come through. And so the legal argument for this case would be whether school staff members have the right to, I guess, stop freedom of speech or filter freedom of speech. And in this particular case, the case was decided in favor of the school because they said that the school had the right to ask the student to take the banner down or to take the banner away because they felt that it was promoting illegal drug use. So that's another legal argument in the case, that the particular statement on the banner was, in their opinions, promoting the use of illegal drugs. And then also, another legal argument for the case would be whether the freedom of speech was violated, since the Constitution gives U.S. citizens freedom of speech. But apparently there are stipulations on that. The other case that I looked at was Tarasoff versus Regents University of California. And that case was about two students that attended the university and ended up getting into a dating relationship, and one thought it was more serious and the other one, wasn't that into it. And so anyways, the guy ended up kind of becoming obsessed with the girl and stalking her, and he ended up getting therapy. But during his therapy sessions, he told his therapist that he was going to kill Tarasoff. And the therapist, he didn't tell Tarasoff or her family, that this person was making threats against her. He did report it to the police, but the legal argument in the case was whether therapists or mental health professionals have a duty or an obligation to warn people that are at risk. I guess a potential threat has been made towards them, and whether the therapist is obligated to notify that person. And then also another legal argument is whether, in order to do this, whether it's okay for these mental health professionals to breach confidentiality. Because, if you're going to a doctor, there's this doctor-patient confidentiality. And so if you go to the doctor and say, that you're going to hurt someone, perhaps you're saying that thinking that it's in confidence and that it's not going to be reported to the authorities or to anybody. So the argument is whether these professionals have an obligation to protect the individual being threatened or the public at large. And in this case, that they did rule that the therapist should have notified the individual, Tarasoff, or her family, because ultimately the gentleman did end up killing the girl. So it could have been prevented or it could have potentially been prevented had she been warned.